Hello, and welcome to another video with videos to fall asleep to. In this video, we will cover the history of Pakistan cricket. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. There is a word often used by commentators and journalists when they talk about Pakistan cricket: mercurial. It means subject to sudden, unpredictable changes of mood or mind. It is a polite, sanitized way of saying that Pakistan is the only team in the history of international sports that can look like an absolute amateur village side on a Tuesday, and on Wednesday, transform into a team of ruthless, untouchable gods. If English cricket is a novel of tradition and Australian cricket is a ruthless corporate machine, Pakistan cricket is pure, unadulterated street poetry. It is a sport played on the edge of a cliff. It is brilliant, chaotic, heartbreaking, and utterly intoxicating. To understand Pakistan cricket, you must understand that it was born out of fracture, built on improvisation, and sustained by a kind of wild, feral genius. Let me tell you the story of the Cornered Tigers. Act 1. The Nation Without a Pitch. We begin in August 1947. The British Empire has carved the Indian subcontinent in two, creating the new nation of Pakistan. It was a birth baptized in unimaginable bloodshed and mass migration. When the dust settled, Pakistan was a country with almost nothing. They had no central bank, a fractured government, and certainly no sporting infrastructure. The cricketers who found themselves on the Pakistani side of the border had no grass pitches, no stadiums, and no money. They played on matting, jute mats stretched tight over baked earth. But what they lacked in resources, they made up for in a desperate, burning desire to prove their legitimacy to the world. Their first captain, Abdul Hafiz Kardar, was a stern, Oxford-educated autocrat. He essentially willed the national team into existence through sheer discipline. And then, in 1954, just 7 years after the country was created, Pakistan went to England. They arrived at the Oval in London to play the mighty English team. The English expected a polite, easy victory against the colonial upstarts. But Pakistan had a bowler named Fazal Mahmood. Fazal was a blue-eyed, devastatingly handsome man who bowled with a deadly, mesmerizing cut off the pitch. In a low-scoring thriller, Fazal Mahmood took 12 wickets in the match. Pakistan beat England on their very first tour. Think about that. It takes most nations decades to win a test match abroad. Pakistan did it instantly. The English press was stunned. The victory at the Oval didn't just put Pakistan cricket on the map. It gave a traumatized, newly born nation a sense of absolute, unifying pride. They had announced themselves, but to conquer the world, they needed a weapon, and they were about to invent one. Act 2. The Dark Art of Reverse Swing. To understand the soul of Pakistan cricket, you have to look at the streets of Lahore and Karachi. In the 1970s, young boys were playing tape ball cricket in the dusty alleyways. The pitches were abrasive concrete. The scorching sun baked the leather of traditional cricket balls, scuffing one side to a rough, sandpaper finish, while the other side remained shiny. Orthodox English physics dictated that a cricket ball swings towards the rough side. But a Pakistani fast bowler named Sarfraz Nawaz discovered a glitch in the matrix. He realized that if you bowl a highly scuffed ball at extreme, terrifying pace, the aerodynamics invert. The ball suddenly, violently, swings towards the shiny side at the very last millisecond. It was called reverse swing. To the English and the Australians, it looked like magic. Some even called it cheating. But it wasn't cheating. It was an aerodynamic masterpiece born of necessity. Sarfraz taught it to a young, charismatic, Oxford-educated aristocrat named Imran Khan. Imran Khan was not just a cricketer, he was a force of gravity. With his flowing hair and movie star looks, he was a global icon. But on the pitch, he was a warlord. He took the dark art of reverse swing and weaponized it. He bowled with a lethal, toe-crushing ferocity. More importantly, Imran took over the captaincy of Pakistan and recognized the team's fatal flaw. Pakistan produced individual geniuses, but they were deeply fractured by regional politics, egos, and infighting. Imran essentially became a dictator. He ruled the dressing room with an iron fist. He scoured the streets and domestic leagues, hand-picking raw, unpolished fast bowlers and throwing them into the international arena. He didn't care about your background or who your father was. He only cared if you had fire in your belly. Under Imran Khan, Pakistan stopped being a collection of talented individuals. They became a pack of wolves. Act 3. The Two W's and the Cornered Tigers. The crowning glory of Imran's empire arrived in the 1992 World Cup in Australia. By this point, Imran was aging, suffering from a chronic shoulder injury, and playing through sheer, stubborn willpower. The tournament started disastrously for Pakistan. They were battered, bruised, and on the brink of elimination. They won only one of their first 5 games. Before a must-win game against Australia, Imran walked into the dressing room wearing a t-shirt with a tiger on it. He looked at his broken, demoralized team, and he gave the most famous speech in the history of the sport. He told them, "Fight like cornered tigers, because a cornered tiger is the most dangerous animal in the world. You have nothing to lose." Something snapped. The magic ignited. Pakistan went on a miraculous, unstoppable run, winning every subsequent game to reach the final at the Melbourne Cricket Ground against England. And in that final, the world witnessed the true terror of Imran's ultimate creations, Wasim Akram and Waqar Younis. The two W's. If you have never seen Wasim Akram bowl, it is like watching a venomous snake strike. He bowled left arm, hiding the ball behind his back before whipping his arm over with an impossibly fast, snapping wrist. He could swing the ball both ways at 90 miles an hour. Waqar Younis bowled from the other end, aiming exclusively for the batsman's toes, shattering stumps with late, in-swinging yorkers. In the final, Wasim Akram delivered 2 consecutive, unplayable deliveries to rip the heart out of the English batting order. Pakistan won the World Cup. Imran Khan lifted the Crystal Trophy, cementing his legacy not just as a great captain, but as a sporting deity. Act 4. The era of chaos and heartbreak. But a flame that burns that brightly is bound to leave scars. The 1990s and early 2000s were the most thrilling yet tragic era of Pakistan cricket. The talent was absolutely absurd. They had Shoaib Akhtar, the Rawalpindi Express, the fastest bowler in the history of humanity, who officially broke the 100-mile-per-hour barrier. They had Saeed Anwar, an elegant, wristy assassin of a batsman. They had Inzamam ul Haq, a massive, sleepy-looking giant who had more time to play the ball than anyone else alive. Yet, without the iron grip of Imran Khan, the team dissolved into chaos. Captains were hired and fired every few months. Egos clashed. Player revolts were common. And then came the darkness, the match-fixing scandals. In the late 90s, rumors swirled that players were taking money from illegal bookies to underperform. A judicial inquiry, the Justice Qayyum Commission, ripped the lid off the sport. Beloved heroes were banned. The public's trust was shattered. But even that was not the lowest point. In March 2009, the Sri Lankan cricket team was touring Pakistan. As their team bus approached the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore, it was ambushed by heavily armed terrorists. 6 policemen and a driver were killed. Several Sri Lankan players were injured. It was the day cricket in Pakistan died. The International Cricket Council stripped Pakistan of all hosting rights. For a nation that treats cricket as a religion, the temples were shuttered. The public was robbed of their heroes. Pakistan was forced into exile. Act 5. The Fortress in the Desert and the Misbah Renaissance. Imagine being a professional athlete And for 10 years, you are never allowed to play a game in front of your home crowd, your family, or your friends. Pakistan was forced to adopt the United Arab Emirates, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, as their home. Empty, soulless stadiums in the middle of a searing desert. And in 2010, amid another devastating spot-fixing scandal in England that saw 3 players, including the brilliant young fast bowler Mohammad Amir, sent to prison, Pakistan cricket looked utterly, irreversibly destroyed. They needed a savior, but they didn't need a flamboyant superstar like Imran. They needed a rock. They found Misbah-ul-Haq. Misbah was a stoic, defensive, deeply unglamorous batsman in his late 30s. The fans initially hated him because he batted slowly, but Misbah didn't care about applause. He cared about survival. Under Misbah's captaincy in the UAE, Pakistan built a fortress. They learned to play slow, attritional, suffocating cricket. They ground teams into the dust. Against all logic, playing entirely in exile, Misbah led this broken, traumatized team to the #1 spot in the World Test rankings in 2016. To celebrate at the age of 42 after scoring a century at Lord's, Misbah dropped to the grass and did 10 military push-ups, a tribute to the army camp where the team had trained. It was a moment of profound, undeniable resilience. But Misbah's steady hand was just the foundation. The Pakistani flair was waiting to explode again. And it did. In the 2017 Champions Trophy final. Against their ultimate, bitter rivals, India. India was the global superpower, the billion-dollar behemoth, the heavy favorites. Pakistan had barely qualified for the tournament and had been thrashed by India in the opening game. But remember the rule? Mercurial? On the day of the final, Pakistan transformed. A relatively unknown opener named Fakhar Zaman slashed a brilliant century. And then, the young fast bowler, Mohammad Amir, who had served time in prison, who had lost 5 years of his life, who had returned seeking redemption, bowled a spell of such terrifying, swinging venom that he destroyed the mighty Indian top order. Pakistan won. It was illogical. It made no sense on paper, but it was the most perfectly Pakistan victory imaginable. Act 6. The Return of the Roar. Today, the darkness has finally lifted. After a decade of exile, international cricket has returned to Pakistani soil. The stadiums in Lahore, Karachi, Rawalpindi, and Multan are full again. A whole generation of children who grew up watching their heroes on television sets finally get to hear the roar of the crowd in person. They get to watch Babar Azam, a batsman so technically perfect, so cover drive beautiful, that he brings a calming elegance to the traditional chaos. They get to watch Shaheen Shah Afridi, a towering, smiling left-arm fast bowler who continues the great ancestral bloodline of Wasim Akram. When Shaheen takes the ball in the first over of a match, the crowd collectively holds its breath, knowing that the stumps are about to be targeted with extreme prejudice. So, what is the history of Pakistan cricket? It is a defiance of logic. In a world where sport is increasingly digitized, analyzed, and optimized by data scientists and algorithms, Pakistan remains the great, beautiful anomaly. You cannot code for them. You cannot predict them. They are the boys from the dusty streets who taught the ball to swing the wrong way. They are the cornered tigers who won the world. They are the exiles who conquered from the desert. They are a reminder that in cricket and in life, true greatness doesn't always come from perfect plans.